Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to the Women of Golf. This is Tuesday, April the 15th, 2014, and we're excited to be here. I'm your host, Ted Odorico, and joining me, of course, is one of the hardest working women in golf today, my co-host, LPGA professional Cindy Miller. Cindy, welcome back to Women of Golf.
Thank you, Ted. It's great to be here.
We got a great show, everybody. Just before we start, though, let me remind everybody that this broadcast, of course, is airing live on blogtalkradio.com every Tuesday morning, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and runs right through till 10 a.m. And if you want to tune into the program, you can do so at www.blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf, or you can just type in Women of Golf and it'll come right to the show. If you want to speak to either Cindy or I or any of the guests during the broadcast, you can do so by calling in at area code 347-945-5855. Or you can email questions to womenofgolf@gmail.com. We got a great show for you today. We've got three guests we're going to squeeze into the hour. Our first guest, of course, is going to be Jane Blalock, president of the Legends Tour, followed by Linda Faye, the founder president of Just for Golf Accessories, and of course, a good friend, Barbara Gutstadt, the founder and CEO of the Women of Golf and Travel Concierge. Cindy, let's bring on our first guest today.
Well, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce to you Jane Blalock. She might be the hardest working woman in golf today. She started playing on the LPGA Tour for 18 years. She has made more consecutive putts than any man or woman on the LPGA or PGA Tour, with 299 putts in a row, which is amazing.
Wow.
And for the last 24 years has run the LPGA golf clinics for women around the country, where business women have the opportunity to learn how to play and use the game of golf as a business tool in a relaxed, fun atmosphere. So, Jane, thank you so much. Jane Blalock, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you, Cindy. I got you fooled, huh, with you thinking that I'm really hardworking.
Well, you got the best staff in the world.
I just have a good team, and evidently a lot of energy.
That's for sure. Your team is amazing.
Well, Jane, we want to thank you for taking some time out this morning. As Cindy mentioned, you're certainly among the hardest working women in golf today, and we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning on Women of Golf. Just tell us a little bit about, first off, about the Legends Tour, and sort of how it came about, and what some exciting things that we've got to look forward to for 2014.
No, it's my pleasure to. Well, the Legends Tour, akin to the Champions Tour, on the PGA. The only difference is the age is 45, and we don't have quite as many tournaments yet, but we will. And it's the genesis of the tour was that the men had the opportunity to leave the PGA and continue their careers and continue to relate to the fans around the country, and yes, the women did not. So we lobbied the LPGA very hard, and they really weren't in the position to give us the support we needed at that time. So 25 players got together and put up their own money, so skin in the game. Some of the great names like, Beth Daniel, Nancy Lopez, Jan Stevenson, Hollis Stacy, Sally Little. And we started what is now the Legends Tour. And we started a little over 10 years ago. Last year was our best year yet, 2013. We had 11 events around the country. And it's a great, we had 9 Hall of Famers, over 600 LPGA tournament victories, so many major championships I can't count. And if I started listing the players that play, you'd go, wow. I mean, it's the heart and soul of the LPGA, and names that are recognizable. Laura Davies, Rosie Jones, Pat Bradley, Patty Sheehan, Nancy Lopez, I think Meg Mallon. And this year we're going to have Julie Inkster join us. So our tour is just really beginning to take off, and it's an exciting time for us.
Well, that's fantastic. I remember seeing Lori Davies years ago, and I think it was during the is it the Des Maurier? Was it the Classic on the LPGA? They played up in Canada, and I think they played at where they played the Canadian. My mind just slipped me here, but Glen Abbey up in Oakville, Ontario.
Yeah, we played Glen. Yeah, they used to. The Des Maurier was a great event. Used to move around a little bit.
Yeah, and I remember watching her off of, I can't remember, again, my mind's a little foggy this morning, but watching her hit her driver off one of the tees, and it was just, I mean, she was easily driving further than most of the men, even by today's standard. I think Bubba Watson, of course, winner of the Masters this past weekend, was probably about the only one that would give her a good run for the money. I've never seen anybody hit the ball so far in my life. Just a phenomenal lady, but...
She still does, Ted. It's phenomenal. She hits her 4-iron farther than I hit my driver. But she doesn't just play well. It's the personality, and that's what our Legends Tour is about. It's players that can communicate with the fans, just demonstrate excitement and passion, and it's a great tour to watch.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about the Legends Tour and find out where some of the events are being held, how can they go about doing that if they wanted to attend one of the events?
The best way is to go on our website, which is thelegendstour.com. And it will have all the dates, information, and even someone watching says, gee, I'd like to bring one of those tournaments to my community. That information is there as well. And we are always looking for more support.
Well, we'll certainly do our part on this part. Cindy, do you have some questions for Jane?
Well, I think, I'm not sure why it's been so difficult, but I can tell you firsthand from participating on the tour that the fans absolutely love having us in town. If they don't recognize us, because I happen to not be, very famous and didn't play on the LPGA Tour very long, but we also do a lot of clinics for women and children. I mean, it's just almost like a big, fun, great atmosphere for the whole week. Would you agree with that, Jane?
Oh, absolutely. And
there's something for everybody.
And when I'm, pitching the tour, they say, gee, well, do you draw any fans? Well, the answer is yes. In Central Florida last year, we had 20,000 people a day. In fact, Cindy, in your home area, well, almost our home area, the Wegmans LPGA, a few years ago, we had a Legends division on a Tuesday afternoon, and 26,000 people showed up to watch 12 of us, and that was more than the young LPGA on the weekend. So we definitely have a lot of appeal as far as the fans are concerned.
Most assuredly. I recognize many of those names on the Legends Tour growing up watching golf, and I'll be honest, and I've said this many times, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I actually enjoy watching the women play more so than many times than I do the men, mainly because they just use a lot more creativity with their shots, especially around the green, than I think a lot of the men do. The men, it's gotten to a game where it's pretty much driver and pitching wedge now, and to be quite honest, with the exceptions again of the major tournaments, it's not as exciting in my opinion as watching some of the ladies play. So I'm going to have to make sure and check the schedule. I definitely want to come out if there's a Legends Tour event happening in my area down here in Florida throughout the year. I want to make sure that I partake in that and come out and show some support. Jane, what are some of the other things that some of the ladies on the Legends Tour, Cindy mentioned, of course, doing some clinics and things like that. What are some of the other things that you're trying to do with the Legends Tour?
Well, it's charity is the key word. We have a tournament, for example, here. I'm in the Boston area, and BJ's Wholesale Club is one of our big sponsors. And last year we raised $1.8 million for that tournament to charity.
Wow.
And so I think that says a lot. So, when you're talking about clinics for women, clinics for kids, raising a lot of money for charity, community appeal, I don't know what gets any better. It's a phenomenal package. Oh, and speaking of Florida, Ted, we'll be there in November. We'll be in Delray Beach We're playing at the Seagate Country Club. We're very fortunate. We have Walgreens sponsoring two of our events. In fact, hopefully the weather will go above 50 degrees this weekend because we have a tournament in Phoenix with Walgreens the first weekend in May, and I need to get out and practice because I still like to play.
And you're very good, I might add.
I can still putt. I don't hit the 2 and 3 irons the way I used to, Cindy, but thank goodness for hybrids.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, I'm going to give you a little tip. I'm sitting in Buffalo in the snow right now, so I think what I have here is coming your way.
Yeah, you are a predictor of what's to happen. I looked at the forecast, and I think you're absolutely right. So I'll go to Phoenix a little rusty, and hopefully it'll be like, just riding a bicycle.
I've seen your swing, and it is just like riding a bicycle.
What are obviously besides practice, Jane, what is something that you found throughout your career was a key motivator in keeping you focused on your game? What sort of motivated you, to get out there and just grind it out week in, week out?
I just hate to lose. I think it sounds like, I'm looking at instead of saying, I like to win, I'd hate to fail and I hate to lose. And so that drives me. And any time someone says, this golf course may not be suited for you, or, you're not that good or anything like that, it just totally fuels me, which, and honestly, that competitive attitude has really carried over to my business acumen. That's how I think I persevere with the Legends Tour and making that happen. I just never give up on anything. Life's too short, so you just keep plugging away, and eventually something will pay off. I tell anyone, they said, they said, you've been at this for a while. And I said, it's just like the game of golf. Every day you think you're going to find your swing. So with that attitude, it's, you're going to accomplish something.
Very well said, and that is so true. In all aspects of life, I think you have your motivational opportunities that come up, whether it's the competitiveness to get the competitive juices going, or sometimes it can be something that somebody has said that kind of gets that fire going and just moves you forward and gets that momentum going and playing. And obviously from what Cindy has indicated here this morning, you're a tough, feisty competitor and somebody to watch out for, and even more importantly, you've become a great leader for those ladies out in the Legends Tour, and I'm sure it's going to be continued to be a successful and growing franchise, and we certainly want to throw any program here to help promote it as well, and we appreciate you taking the time with us this morning.
Well, it's my pleasure, and it will succeed, I promise you.
Oh, I guarantee.
Well,
I have no
done,
doubt with the cast of ladies on the Legends Tour, I have no doubts it'll be a successful enterprise, and we look forward to watching it grow as more of the LPGA players come up through the ranks and move into the Legends Tour. I know it's going to be a great tour. Very well, Cindy. Do you want to do the honors and thank our guests?
I just thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. And I am looking forward. I'm coming out to Phoenix. I'm second alternate, and I'm going to try to qualify. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And thankfully, I'm sitting in a dome so I can hit some balls today.
Okay. Well, I'll knock off a few people so you'll be in. I get out there early.
Thank you.
And we'll edit that part. We'll edit that part out of the program so that there's no liability, Jane. But that would be one thing. I know Cindy would love to play. But Jane Blalock, thank you very much for spending a few moments. And as we sit off air, you are more than welcome to come back anytime on the Women of Golf and share some thoughts and insight. We appreciate your time this morning.
Well, thank you. I like being here, and I look forward to the next time.
All right. I appreciate it. You have a great day. Thank you. Okay. That was Jane Blalock, president of the Legends Tour, spending a few moments with Cindy and I this morning. And Cindy, we're already moving along here. It's amazing. We've already had the first quarter of Women of Golf gone by, and we're just getting ready, gearing up for our next guest lady this morning. Linda Faye, founder and president of Just for Golf Accessories. She's ready to go here. So if you want to, very quickly, Cindy, and then we'll bring her on. This was something actually that she had sent me, and it was very quite. Sorry, you go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Well,
what I was going to say was
I learned of. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I learned of Linda Faye at a Legends Tour event in Tucson a couple years ago, and we had a Pro-Am event. There was a booth, and at this booth was the most beautiful head covers I had ever seen knitted, and that's where I met Linda Faye. So you can go ahead and tell everybody, our guests, about what exactly she does and why she started to do it.
Yeah, this is something that Linda had to say about her business, Just for Golf Accessories, and here's what she had to say. Just for Golf Accessories was born out of a need because she couldn't find fun and stylish golf club covers for her fabulous new pink golf bag, as she puts it. She's an avid golfer, a fashionista, and an experienced product developer, and she knew that she could create a line of golf club accessories that would be fun and colorful to sort of mix and match to create your own fashion statement. In other words, let your bag be your own personal statement, not a walking sponsor or look-alike like a toy store. She was certainly excited to bring a new collection of coordinating driver, fairway, and hybrid and putter covers. And I actually met her down at the PGA show this year in January, and just really was impressed with some of the products that she had. So, Cindy, let's bring her out here, and if you want to do the honors again and just introduce her. That would be,
Linda, thank
that would be
you.
great.
Joining us is the founder and president of Just for Golf Accessories, Linda Faye. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
And thank
you
for having me. And I was listening to a little bit of Jane's conversation, Cindy, about the snow. And I'm sitting in Tucson, Arizona, and it's a beautiful sunny morning, and it'd be about 90 degrees. So a perfect place. Someone asked me when I was actually at the PGA show, why are all the head cover companies based in Arizona? And I just said, well, I think we're smart. we can play golf 12 months a year, which is great. So I really appreciate you having me on the show. So we've been in business for about 3.5 years. And Cindy, you keep coming into my life, which is a great thing.
I do. I had Linda draft ship some head covers really quickly to boot camp last week. I used them all as prizes, and everybody loves them. They just go over really well.
Yeah, they're fun. I call them eye candy.
They are.
What impressed me the most is obviously, Linda, we met briefly at the PGA show this year. I know it was a very busy time, so we didn't get a lot of time to spend and talk at the show, but I sort of made my rounds throughout the PGA and merchandising show this year and wanted to look for some interesting things. And I just sort of honed right in on your booth because for two reasons. First off, there was a lot of color and vibrancy to the booth, but also you don't see a lot of that style of head cover as much. They've all seemed to have gone to this bulky-looking thing. And I remember using a lot of that, especially the knitted covers, years ago when I was a youngster and playing with my father. That's, of course, what the style was at that time. Certainly not as elegant as what you're offering, but and I always wonder why they went away from that because I liked the long neck. It was very protective of the clubs, and they seem to have gone away from that for some reason. And I just found what you were doing interesting, and I wanted to have you on our show here. But just give us a little bit more background, if you wouldn't mind, just sort of how you got started and why, and what some things that we can expect when visiting your site.
Sure. Well, to start with, I didn't play golf when knitted head covers were in style. So, everyone tells me how retro they are, and they are. And it was just, I was a knitter, and I got I really did buy a pink golf bag and couldn't find anything that I liked and started knitting, and then friends encouraged me, why don't you start a business, and that's really how it happened. I've been in retail, merchandising, product development my whole career, and I don't admit to how many years that is, but it's been a while. And, I just thought I could bring fashion. The other thing that I did, or the line is mix and match. You buy them individually. because I have a 4 wood and a 7 wood, and when I was looking for sets or for head covers, everything was a set, and it was a 3 and a 5, and I said, okay, there has to be something different out there. And so you buy them individually, mix and match, and customers really, or golfers really get the concept. Our website is shopjustforgolf.com, and the 4 is the number 4. And I could see from all the orders we get that, they very rarely are buying 3 of the same or 4 of the same. But, that happens too. But it's individual, and particularly if you're playing at a club, and we sell a lot of pro shops throughout the country, and everyone's bag looks a little bit different because they put them together a little bit different. So I've added, last year I made some major changes and added spandex so they stay on the clubs much better, because that was one of the things that, was a little bit of a challenge and that people always were apprehensive about, them falling off. And trust me, I've really walked through the desert and my 7 wood was pulled out of my bag, and I didn't realize it till 5 holes later. And I went back and it was hanging in a cactus with the cover on it. So wow. It's really a true story. Yeah, and the neck of the club is pretty long. So when you're particularly if you're riding, everything isn't just clanging, metal to metal. And
right.
we have fun pom poms, and then there's a unique dial on each of them. So you can adjust it to whatever club you have in your bag. And there's always an X on the dial in case you have a number that I didn't think about.
Well, that's a great idea. That's something you don't see on a lot of the modern covers and that. Now, Cindy, I know that you've been had the pleasure of ordering some through Linda's business and that. How long have you dealt with Linda? When did you first?
What year did I see you? Did I meet you with the Legends Tour in Tucson?
Yeah, I think it was 2011. It was very, very first year. Mm-hmm.
I bought some that night, and I've been using them ever since. They're great, and they're so colorful, and they're different, and like she said, people want customization now. They don't want a whole set of head covers that look the same. Everybody's bag, you can create your own identity almost. So I love it.
And what I noticed too, Linda, this was something else that sort of caught my eye. With your booth and some of the others in the area that you were, I walked quite extensively throughout the PGA show, and I certainly don't want to, knock any of the big players out there, but it seemed to be a lot of the same repetitiveness with some of the main manufacturers in their covers and things like that. There wasn't really any sort of unique style, and that was something, and you were down in a section where there were a lot of different unique things happening, and yours obviously being one of them. And that's what really caught my eye. As I said, a lot of the major players, it was sort of the same old, and maybe just a different name and so forth. But you've actually put a lot of thought into this collection, and I see also from your website that you do offer men's options as well. So I'm going to sift through and see what I can find for mine, because I definitely would love to get some. So I'll make sure that I do that as well, because I like that sort of retro idea. I just think it's sort of a throwback to earlier times in golf, and that's something I've always enjoyed. If there was one thing that you want to sort of get out about your collection to let people know, what would it be?
I think it's really the fashion and the quality and value would probably be the 3 things, because that's what the feedback I'm always getting is they're superb. They're better than anyone expected. And coming from, my apparel and accessory background, I would always say to my buyers, I want it to be a wow. And that's what happens when people actually get them. If they're ordering for the website and they get them delivered, it's like, wow, these are better than I thought. And that's really, I want to over-deliver. And because it's hard on a website, you're looking at just a picture. And I have, I think, a great photographer, and, we do a really good job. But I think when they get them in person, they're actually even better than what they thought they were. And, the quality does hold up to time, as Cindy says. And the other interesting thing is when I'm on looking at our Google Analytics, 60% of my visitors on the site are 18 to 35 years old. And if you asked me who my customer was, I could tell you it's a baby boomer. So we really span the ages. And because to someone who is younger, it's really retro. To someone who's a little older, they remember them. and they're easy to get on and off. So that's, I think another really key selling feature. And the analytics also tells me 55% of my visitors are men. So, it is a unisex line. Yes, I will admit there's a little more emphasis on women's. Next year for 2015, that's going to be one of my growth areas to really develop more of a men's line as well. But there still are, plenty of options for men. And we sell a lot of gifts because I can just see who's ordering and what they're ordering, and particularly at the holidays and Mother's Day and Father's Day are definitely spikes in our business as well.
And this is something that really was what I was alluding to. This is something that really seems to be lacking in with sort of the mainstream. We need more of this type of thing coming into this business. Golf is, don't get me wrong, and Cindy would, I'm certainly attest for her own self, that golf is a great business, but compared to so many other businesses out there, there are certain areas that seems to be lacking. And really, one of the things behind this program was to sort of showcase not just some great talented women in the golf business, but also business women in golf, such as yourself, because there's a lot of innovation that's coming through that really the ladies are stepping up, and a lot of the men out there, I hate to say it, but we're falling behind. So you guys are certainly taking the lead in this area of the golf industry, and that was very evident down at the PGA show this year, particularly seeing your booth there. I thought, and I think if I'm not mistaken, you have a short video clip on your website from the PGA show. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. Yes, and we're going to be changing it out shortly and putting. I filmed 3 different ones there, putting one more geared to summer. Even though I realize lots of the country hasn't even had spring, but we're moving on to a little bit of summer. But yeah, and I think I also didn't have any preconceived ideas of what I could or couldn't do or what people would expect. So I follow the trends when it comes to, some fashion colors and patterns, as well as what golf bags are out there, because that's really a driver, because they're coordinating my head covers to their golf bags. And I learned that a little bit the first year when my color palette I had some maybe real fashion that, I had no relationship to it. So, you learn as you move on. And, there was a lot of good that came out of it, and a lot of the patterns are still around, 3 years later, which is a good thing. And, I want to offer the best quality that I can and the best value, and for everybody to look good and express themselves. And, my expression or my little slogan on the website is, "We design them, you combine them." And everybody puts them together just a little bit different. And I have a collection on my website that's called Spot the Dots, and it came from a customer because she ordered my polka dots in 3 different colors, and I'd never put them together that way. And then I looked at them and I said, "These look great," and kind of happened to, they gave me the idea on how to mix and match them. So, I'm always open to new ideas and looking around.
And you have another one, too, I've noticed, that diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yes.
Collection.
Yes. Yeah. It's all, the names are whimsy, and it's about fun. I don't know that I should say this, but there's a nail polish line called OPI, and all their, names of the colors are fun, and that was one of my inspiration. I have the Parfect pinks, and so it's just, it's whimsy, it's fun, and that's what they're about. But it makes people feel good. And, at the show when people would come to the booth and stop and look, and it's like, wow, it just, you see their faces light up. And I see the same thing. I've done some trunk shows at some clubs, and just even talking to some, the customers over the phone if they have some questions about, because, I say on the website, call me, because I help people put things together as well, a little concierge service. But, it's fun. I love interacting with the customers and with people. And, I have a lot of passion about the brand, so it's a good combination.
Well, it's certainly a great line. Linda, let me ask you, just here in the last few moments, are you going to expand into some other areas, other accessories, do you think, as time goes on, or are you going to is this sort of a niche that you want to sort of just expand on its own, or do you plan on bringing some other great products to your line?
I am going to add some additional products to the line. I have some towels on my website, which we just added some new ones, and we're starting to get some nice sales on those. But, yes, I am. In 2015, that's my growth year. Still think there's a big opportunity in head covers, and they will stay. They're the core of the line. But I also do some putter covers that coordinate back, and I'm going to the PGA show in August, and I'll have some new products there as well. So, yes. Yes, Ted. It's we have to keep growing, and and the brand has some legs, as I'm learning, so that's a good thing. So, yes, I'll be adding some new products.
And you can't have anybody, I don't think, better than Cindy Miller to certainly give you an endorsement. Cindy, I know that you've enjoyed the covers that you've received, and I know that you'll be a big supporter of Linda's business in the future as well.
Absolutely, and she has great customer service.
Thank you. And Cindy's son also, has some of our covers. And I think the other thing, Ted, that you can't really preconceive, what a man would order, because I had one of my customers call me a couple of weeks ago and said, I have a special order for a guy, and you won't believe what he's ordering. And I said, he's ordering line dots. And he said, absolutely. How did you know? And it's just, everybody thinks that, dots are just for women, but really they're not.
Right.
So, it's fun.
My
really
son Jamie has the pink polka dots. That's what he wanted.
Hey, we're trying. I mean, our fashion isn't quite there yet on the men's side, but we're slowly trying to get up there, and certainly with the help of great entrepreneurs like you, Linda, we're certainly we're gonna move into the next century along with you. So, but we want to certainly thank you for coming on today. And just before we let you go, Linda, if you can maybe just share on how people can get a hold of you and get more information on your product.
Sure. We're on the web at shopjustforgolf.com. And as I said before, it's a number 4, not the word 4. And, we have always checking our email. And if there's any questions, we have a customer service email at shopjustforgolf.com. And we're always there to help and, get covers to you quickly or help you decide what you should be ordering. So
and these are all. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank her so much for joining us and for taking the initiative to really create something that's really nice and awesome and great value and great customer service. You've done a super job.
Oh, thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate it, especially coming from you. You are really a very sweet lady and been very supportive of me, so I really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate what you've come up with. It's amazing. It's great.
Good. Well, I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, Linda, we appreciate you coming on the Women of Golf and sharing that with you. And you're certainly, as we say with all the guests, you're certainly welcome to come back. And as you continue to expand your business, come back and share some of the, maybe in 2015, if you want to come back again and share some of the new things that you've got, we would more than happy to have you on here. And I'm assuming you're going to be, in January, you're going to be back at the PGA show for next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
all signed up. Absolutely.
I'll make sure that I stop by your booth again next year and see what great things you've got lined up. But we want to thank you for taking time. Our special guest again today is Linda Faye, the founder and president of Just for Golf Accessories. Thank you very much for being on the program this morning.
Thank you very much, and you have a great day, and thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, again, that was our another special guest that we had this morning, Linda Faye, the founder and president of Just for Golf Accessories. And you can get more information if you want. You can email Linda, as she said, at customer service at shopjustforgolf.com, or you can visit the site at shopjustforgolf.com. We're rounding up with our last guest, Cindy, coming on board, and I see that she's ready to go. And I'm going to let you take the lead and bring Barbara out here, because I know that you know her very, very well, and you know what she's all about. So why don't you take away, Linda? Sorry, Cindy.
That's okay. So our next guest, Barbara Gutstadt, is the founder and CEO of Women's Golf and Travel Concierge. They just started their business within the last year, and what they're doing is putting together travel and golf tours for men and women all over the world. And so I would like to welcome Barbara, and we are so grateful for you to be here. Please welcome Barbara Gutstadt.
Hello, Cindy, and hello, Ted. It's so great to be back again.
Well, we're glad to have you with us.
How are you doing, Barbara?
I'm doing just great. Got my family visiting here, and so there's no better time than that. But I took time to be on your show today, and I appreciate any plug you can get out there to tell the world what we're doing, and we certainly are having fun at it. So I look forward to your questions today.
Well, that's good. Well, let me start off here real quick, Barbara. I know that you were on my other program, Golf Talk Live, and had an opportunity to explain a little bit about your business at that point. But you were still sort of getting things up and running, and now it's fully operational, as they say. So why don't you share with our new audience here on Women of Golf just a little bit about what you're going to offer with the Women's Golf and Travel Concierge business?
Great. We are offering either package programs with travel with a pro, such as our dear Cindy Miller, or we're also offering custom packages based on a group's desire for a certain destination. Since we last spoke, Ted, we have 3 great trips posted on our website as we speak now, one to Africa, one to Spain, and one to Punta Cana. But in addition to that, we have received requests for over 60 custom travel packages to literally anywhere in the country for little short getaways. So our launch was just recently, but it is going like gangbusters, and we're thrilled. So that's really what we're doing right now, is pretty much concentrating on the custom packages based upon request.
Fantastic. And why don't you tell us a little bit about, you and Cindy can tell us a little bit about the one that's coming up with Cindy Miller. That sounds like it would be a great package. Tell us a little bit about that.
Cindy, are you excited about this trip?
I am excited about it. And you know, it's funny, I didn't tell you this, but I have been to Spain and Portugal. So I'm really looking forward to going back and helping. I guess I'm gonna help these people get a little better. So it's kind of like a mini golf school travel excursion experience.
It sure is. The dates, Ted, are July 27th through August 6th. Cindy is headlining our trip to Spain and Portugal. We're going to be going there about 10 nights, and we have golf, not only golf, but we have the experience of having Cindy as a pro on the driving range with us, on the golf course, at dinner, socializing, and our travelers get a chance to really hear about the life of a pro and what it's like during that week. So it's pretty exciting. And in addition to that, part of what our trips offer is the international golf culture experience. We have a Spanish team who has been able to contact the Spanish women golfers that are going to join us on various points of the trip to play with us. And what I find fascinating with that is, although I took Spanish in college, I really forget it. And I can't speak language, but everybody out there playing golf certainly knows the language of golf. So it should be interesting teeing off with somebody not speaking the language, but we certainly know how to be respectful and know the rules of the game and share the fun times at the 19th hole, trying to communicate with each other. The trips are very specific to the country, and we're thrilled to have Cindy be able to join us on that particular Travel with a Pro trip. So thank you, Cindy.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it.
Very good.
Well, I must confess I'm jealous that I'm not going on this trip, and I'm going to have to make a point of getting involved in one of the other ones. But let me ask you, Barbara, because you and I, of course, have spoken before. You were on my Golf Talk Live program back. Actually, you were the final guest I had in 2013 before we took a break for the holidays. But I know that you've had a lot of involvement in previous businesses in the corporate world. And I know that you understand the importance of sort of marrying, if you will, golf and the corporate world, and especially for some women executives out there. Talk a little bit about that area of it. I think a lot of listeners out there would appreciate sort of the angle that you're trying to take here with this business.
Ted, this is my 6th startup company, and 5 of them were built on the golf course, building relationships to help grow my businesses. And not really knowing that I was supposed to have done that years ago, I just really fell into it and figured out that men for years have building relationships on the golf course. So either as a woman who wanted to advance herself in the corporate world, I quickly found out that I too needed to play golf. But I was, like most women, I didn't know where to begin, what to do. I just knew that I was supposed to do it. So I set out trying to go to clinics and seminars, and it led up to actually myself doing seminars, and even Cindy does seminars on Golf 101. But my favorite seminar is teaching the businesswoman who knows she maybe thinks about getting golf but doesn't know how to get in it. My seminar is called Getting into Golf Without Ever Swinging the Golf Club, because you initially have to understand the benefits of it, where it's going to take you, and then it slowly it lays out the steps for you of where you need to go. And then that moves into the clinics and maybe a more detailed seminar and reading some books. So you finally get up to the point where you are ready to play the game and then make the invitation. But along that way, there are other things that you can do, many, many golf strategies that you can talk the game, you can dress the game, you can be the game. But if you're not exactly ready to play the game, there's many strategies that Cindy or myself or many other corporate seminar speakers can offer to the corporate women to help them advance their career. And there's an article posted on my website that's breaking the boardroom ceiling with your golf clubs. And that's really what we're about by teaching corporate women how to play golf.
Well, that's a fantastic, goal really to have, and I think it's something that a lot of women, such as yourself and others out there have wanted to do for a long time. And as you said, that there's sort of been that glass ceiling, and that's what really we're trying to do here with the Women of Golf show, Cindy and I, is really to break that glass ceiling and get women more engaged and more in golf. Cindy, if you wouldn't mind, just maybe take a few moments. I know you don't want to give everything away, but maybe talk a little bit about what you have planned for the ladies and participants that are coming to Spain with you in July. Maybe talk a little bit about what you've got planned for them and what you want to help them with while you're there.
Well, I think that we all face the same challenges. We all want to be confident and consistent. Most people that start learning to play the game of golf, for whatever reason, their number one goal, wish, dream is, please help me be more consistent. So I try to help people be more aware of what they're doing, because the definition of consistent could also be boring, is doing the same thing over and over again, and in golf, it's a good thing. So I think I would try to help these women be a little more comfortable with what they're doing on the course, how they prepare to hit a shot, so they can be a little more confident, and then and only then will you become more consistent. I believe and I know for a fact that there are many, many, many opportunities and programs to help women learn to play the game of golf and learn to use it as a business tool. I know the PGA Tour is doing women's golf days. The LPGA Tour is now doing women's golf days. Jane has the LPGA golf clinics for women. So there's a lot of opportunities to learn how to play the game and use it as a business tool. But I think it all boils down to each individual knowing exactly what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, and what works for them. And we're all different, and everyone has to learn their own way so that they're not trying to mimic someone else. And the one thing that drives me crazy is the committee of they, you're looking up, they're gunning your arm. No one has ever tried to miss a shot on purpose. So that I've ever met, I'm sure there's one little kid or something that tried to hit one bad on purpose just to tick off the parents. But, again, the mission here is to help people be comfortable so they can be a little more confident, and only then will they become more consistent and have more fun.
Exactly.
I agree.
And, Barbara, I'm going to want both of you to answer this. But what do you think is Barbara, I'll start with you, one of the biggest fears that women have, about getting into golf? What do you think is maybe one of the obstacles is maybe a better way to do it of getting into golf? Why do you think there's so many women that are apprehensive?
I think one of the biggest obstacles when you mentioned that golf to someone, they quickly say it takes too much time. I don't know how to play it. And would you agree, Cindy? Basically, it's time, and they don't know where to play or how to begin. That's some of the excuses that I have heard from people that may have realized that the benefits of golf maybe enhance their careers. They don't really necessarily think about retirement or their social life, but the businesswoman will say, well, how do I fit this into my schedule? And then how do I learn this because I have a family? So that's the biggest obstacle that I'm hearing. How about you, Cindy?
Well, and it's...
I would say the
Go ahead,
same
Cindy.
thing, and I would say their fear of looking silly. I don't believe men really care how they they care how they perform, but they don't mind missing shots, whereas women are a little more concerned. They don't want to look stupid. Once you take someone out, again, with the Legends Tour, I do a lot of pro-ams, and because the Legends Tour knows that I teach golf full-time, they typically pair me with beginners, and once those people play a couple holes with me and we make it fun and easy, they're much more relaxed and have a good time, and they might be a little more open to learning how to play.
Right, and let me just interject something here, since you both have sort of mentioned about the timing. I did a segment on my Golf Talk Live program a little while ago, and it was about the very thing about time, and it really was sort of headed up by why golf was on a little bit of a decline. And one of the main factors that it brought up, just let me throw a stat out there first. They said since 2006, just a couple of years before the recession came in, that golf had declined in the number of rounds played, and it was referring here, of course, the statistics just the United States, by 4.5% to 5% per year since 2006. And the number one cause of that was not monetary, since, according to the stats, 80% of all rounds of golf played here in the United States are played on public courses. In other words, it's not private clubs and so forth. But the number one factor was time. People just didn't have the time. So my question is to both of you, and Cindy, I'm going to let you, if you want. I think that it's important, especially since women make up actually really more than half of the population now, that we get in the industry more and more women playing and engaged in golf to help bring those numbers back up. And what are some ways that we can do? Obviously, we're going to have clinics and we're going to do things like that, but what are some things that the industry can be doing to target and specifically market towards women? What are things that we should be doing?
Well, I think that you can become, like Barbara said, learn the culture first, learn the rules, learn the etiquette. It would be conducive to why are you learning to play? Are you learning to play because you want to spend time with your family? We have a junior golf camp going on right now. Alan's teaching inside, and there's an awful lot of kids in this camp, and the moms and dads go play with the children, so it's family time. Barbara mentioned retirement, business women. Maybe you just want to go have some fun and be outside. The personal challenge of the game. Again, why are they learning to play? How can we make it more fun? Can you learn to play at a driving range? Could you go play at a par 3 so it takes less time? Could you play like U.S. Kids Golf Program? They move the tees way, way, way up so a 7-year-old can shoot under par. Well, yeah. I think we should make it easier. I mean, I don't like hitting 3 hybrids and 3 woods into par 4s. And the PGA Tour, there's guys that are driving greens on par 4s. We need to make it a little bit easier so it's a little more fun. And I think we'll keep more people. I totally agree with you. I don't think it's the money. I think it's the time. And if you've got a mom having to work with 3 kids, they have to go home, they have to cook dinner, they have to make sure everybody has their homework. There's so many responsibilities, it's hard to find time. So we need to make it to where, go play a par 3 executive golf course. It takes an hour and a half. Let's go. We're done. We got time to do whatever else we need to do in the day.
Right, and I think also too that one of the other things that we come across is the competing with different forms of social media and technology out there has sort of monopolized a lot of people's spare time, and people need to be more engaged in activities like golf. And I think, Barbara, going to you now, excuse me, this is something that really I know that you're passionate about doing. And, what are some of the other things that you want to do with the women of Women's Golf and Travel Concierge? Obviously, you want to put some great packages together, but what is sort of your long-term vision with the program?
Well, the long-term vision is to empower more women into the game of golf, to help them advance their careers and enjoy maybe some more social activities with their families. But it's also to instill what the values of golf bring to them and their families, and also to work with the golf courses to help drive those women to the golf course so they can achieve these goals. We are coming out with a couple different products, which I'm not able to announce them today, Ted, but it will help the golf courses and women come up with different incentives, I guess you could say, to come and play at their courses. I'm going to give you an example. When I agree with Cindy, the game has to be fun. If a woman feels that it's too much time and it's challenging and I'm embarrassed by it or this or that, they're just going to avoid it like the plague, and they will not even partake in it. So if the golf courses are able to be a little bit more creative, get the children out there or drive the business with the woman and allow for, I know one golf course in my area here has daycare services for the mother to play golf after work. They have a little nanny that will come and watch the children. Or like you said, Cindy, they have a day where it's called a par 3 women's day. It's actually for anybody learning, where they move the tees up and they just play par 3s for the day. They have a little reduced rates because the time is quicker and the game is fun. And when you think about it, where do you lose most of your strokes? It's on the short game. It's actually a great place to begin your game versus everybody wants to quickly get out to the driving range and hit the ball, where the most of the skills that you need are the short game. So it's actually a win-win for everybody. So we're working with a couple courses to test this, Ted, and then we'll come out with our product to hopefully introduce it to more courses that will take advantage of making the game fun and easier. And as Cindy says, no one wants to look silly out there. We're excited about it.
And Barbara, you know that as time gets closer to launching some of these, you know that we will certainly have you back here to make an official launch here on Women of Golf. Let me just ask you one other thing here, if I may. I was thinking here as I was listening to both of you speak. Traditionally, obviously, a lot of men have that played golf over the years, and I'm excluding the professional level here. I'm talking mainly in an amateur level. But myself as an example, when I was younger, I would go out with my regular foursome and things like that. But you didn't always see a lot of sort of couples golf and or even family golf. And I wonder if that's maybe an area that the industry really needs to focus on. And that doesn't mean that for any guys that are tuning in today, that you can't still continue to go out there and play with your buddies and ladies if they want to play in a ladies group. But I think that, Barbara, you raised a very interesting point that really the industry needs to focus on women more and getting them more engaged. And I can't think of a greater way. Most women, I think, would, if you asked them, would gravitate to an area or activities that include the family. And I think there's an opportunity here for the industry to be a little creative and come up with some ideas where they can engage the whole family in golf activities. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just playing golf, but things at the courses, maybe on the par 3 courses, as you said, where it's not over-challenging too much for the kids. They can have a good time, but at the same time, the parents can be engaged as well. Is that something that you're trying to focus on as well or get engaged in?
Well, our whole company is empowering women on the golf course and creating trips for the woman and her family. That is our whole focus, to be all-inclusive to family members, spouses, and partners, so the experience becomes a joint venture. And what you hit on is a great idea, is family day, maybe at the golf courses, where, move up the par threes, move up, have fun, and invite the families to play golf, where you're engaging not just one party, but all of the parties, which helps grow the game of golf even further. So I think that's a great idea. We're focusing on the entire family for sure, but our market is the woman, because based on research, it says that 80% of women will make the decisions in the household. So we think like women. We're women. We go towards the women and hope that the women will be able to interact with the family and bring them together, hopefully on the golf course.
Well, and I think it's a great opportunity, really, because I know when I've gone on vacation, and there's a lot of great things, activities to do, and some of them are activities that the whole family can do, different types of sporting activities, that involve water and so forth. But golf is a game that really, there's so many different aspects of golf that can be sort of molded into a family plan. I mean, you don't even have to, as I said, you don't have to necessarily go out on a full 18. You can, work around some of the practice. I mean, a lot of these courses now have phenomenal practice facilities. You can make challenging, especially for the little tykes that aren't quite ready to get out on the course. You can make a lot of fun activities, and I just see an opportunity in this day and age, especially in the throes of a recession, where a lot of courses are looking for ways to generate revenue. And Cindy, you obviously travel a lot and play a lot of golf, and I would love to have your input here as well. Where we can do things to encourage courses to, go after that market a little bit more and get people, families particularly, involved in golf.
Absolutely. You can have family fun days. We play tic-tac-toe with putting contests with our kids, chipping and big break stuff, and there's all kinds of things that you could do at a driving range and or a course in their practice facility, and that only takes, an hour to do, and it would bring in new customer and, create a new revenue stream possibility. So, and help families have a great time together. So I totally agree.
Exactly. And, I'm all about, as I know the two of you are, I'm all about, bringing as many people as possible to this game. I think it's a great game. I've played it at a very early age in my life and enjoyed it. And it's something that has brought me a lot of pleasure and a little bit of frustration along the way. But, that's part of the fun of it. That's the challenge of it. But at the same time, as a teacher professional, I also try to instill in my students, the number one thing is I want them to have fun and enjoy it. And I think that with the stresses of everyday life out there today, there's got to be other things and golf can be really very inexpensive. People make it more to be an expensive sport, but it's really not if you're a little bit creative. And I think that with some great programs out there and great organizations, as you said, Barbara, with what you're trying to do here to go after the women and get them engaged. And once they're engaged and see that it's fun and it's not as fearful as they once anticipated, then that's something they're going to bring back into the household and get the family and get the kids involved. And if the courses do, as you've suggested, where some of them are offering sort of daycare services as well for those that maybe need that assistance and encouraged to come out and play, there's a myriad of things that we can be doing here to grow women's golf, and that's what we want to do here on the program. Barbara, I want to give you an opportunity before we close off, because we're believe it or not, the time's already flown by, just to let everybody know how they can get in touch with you and learn more about the Women's Golf and Travel Concierge.
Sure. The website is www.womensgolfandtravel.com. Our phone number is 800-249-2496, and you could reach me at barbara@womensgolfandtravel.com. We welcome your emails. We welcome your phone calls. Any trip opportunities that you'd like to have designed by us, we'd be happy to take care of your needs. And thank you, Ted, for having me today. And Cindy, as always, it's great to be reconnected with you. And let's keep the trips going. And thank you.
Same here. Thank you.
And Barbara, just one last thing before you go. We obviously, as time goes on, Cindy and I are going to make sure that now is the trip. Let me just ask you quickly before I put my foot in my mouth here. The trip in July to Spain, is that full? Is that sold out now, or is there still some room?
No, we have room for travelers on that trip.
Okay. If you can, sometime over the next few days, if you can send me the information on where they can get in touch with you or how they need to go ahead about arranging for that, we can continue to promote it here on the show as well and get some more participants. I think it sounds like an exciting trip, and I wish I could certainly attend on that. But I know Cindy will do a great job when she's over in Spain. So we'll do what we can to get some more ladies interested in going on that trip over in Spain in July.
Very good. We'll get you on one trip, Ted. Don't you worry.
All right. I'm holding you
so
to
much,
that. I
Barbara.
need a trip.
You're welcome, Cindy. Have a great day, and thanks for having me again.
Thank
All right,
you.
you're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Okay, that was our final guest for the day, Barbara Gutstadt, the founder and CEO of the Women's Golf and Travel Concierge. And Cindy, it's hard to believe, but this hour just zips right by, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to have the guests that we did. And I want to thank you especially for bringing on Jane Blalock, president of the Legends Tour, this morning. I appreciate her coming in and spending a few moments, and I hope that she'll continue to come back and support the program as well. And thank you for Cindy for setting that up for us this morning.
You are welcome. And I just want to mention, if anybody wants information on golf schools or their game, they can contact me at cindymillergolf.com, or my email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com. I would love to hear from you and let you ask any questions that you might have about your game.
And let me just add to that, as I said in the opening remarks of the program, I challenge you to find a more hardworking person in this game than my co-host here, LPGA professional Cindy Miller. You're and I hate using this expression because it sounds so derogatory, but you are literally a workhorse in this business, and you're just a pleasure to have, and I'm glad that we're working together on this program. I know we got a lot of great and exciting things are going to be coming up in the future with Women of Golf program, and I want to thank you, Cindy, as always, for coming here and propping me up during the show. But Cindy and I want to take this opportunity just to thank all of the listeners around the world for tuning into the Women of Golf broadcast. This is our second show, and we look forward to having you join us here each and every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here at blogtalkradio.com, the Women of Golf. Cindy, I will see you right here next week on the Women of Golf. Have a great week, everybody, and thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day. All right, bye-bye.